Imagine giving one young trader full access to billions of dollars. And imagine he starts winning, over and over, until no one questions him anymore. But what happens when the winning stops and no one notices? This is the story of how one man, armed with a desk, a computer, and a dangerous level of confidence, brought down one of the oldest banks in the world. It's not fiction. It's not theory. This is the true story of Nick Leeson. And by the time you finish this video, you'll understand just how fragile the financial system really is, and how one crack can collapse it all. Singapore, early 1990s. A city that never sleeps, and neither did the markets. In the heart of the Asian financial boom, the Barings Bank, a 233-year-old British institution, had set up a trading desk. And the man in charge? A 20-something named Nick Leeson. He wasn't born into wealth. He wasn't some Oxford prodigy. He was a working-class kid from London, hungry, smart, and willing to outwork everyone around him. Barings gave him a shot, and Nick made them millions fast. He started as a back-office clerk, someone who just processed trades. But he was clever and fast. He understood the mechanics of the system. And when he got promoted to front office, to actually trade, something strange happened. He got control of both the front and back office. It was like giving the same person the keys to the vault and the job of writing the audit report. And at first, everything looked great. Nick was trading derivatives on the Nikkei index in Japan, and the reports showed massive profits. Barings executives back in London were thrilled. We've got a star. Give him more capital. And so they did. More money. More power. Less oversight, but no one saw what Nick was really doing. He was hiding losses. Massive losses. In a secret account 88,888. That number would become legendary. Every time a trade went wrong, he moved it there. Every time he should have taken a loss, he doubled down. Every time someone asked questions, he smiled and said, "It's under control." And because the profits looked good, no one checked. Account 88,888 was supposed to be temporary, a place to park, small losses until they could be offset. But that's the thing about losses. They don't shrink when ignored. They grow, and that's exactly what started to happen. Nick Leeson wasn't gambling out of greed. He was gambling out of fear. Fear that if Barings found out about the first few million lost, they'd fire him. They'd destroy his career. They'd end everything, so he made a choice. He decided to hide. Each time he lost money, he'd double the bet. When the Nikkei dropped, he'd go all in, convinced it would bounce back. He stopped trading like a banker and started trading like a desperate man trying to cover a body. And it worked for a while. The profits he reported were still fake, but they were convincing. The directors back in London? Celebrating. They gave him bonuses. They promoted him. They made him the poster boy of Barings' success in Asia. Whatever Nick needs, give it to him. Meanwhile, the hole in account 88,888 passed $100 million. And no one blinked, but in January 1995, something happened that no amount of confidence could control. On January 17th, a devastating earthquake struck Kobe, Japan. The markets collapsed. The Nikkei plummeted. And all of Nick's doubling down turned into a financial bloodbath in a matter of days. His hidden losses went from hundreds of millions to $1.4 billion. That was more than the entire capital of Barings Bank. Still, he smiled. Still, he lied. Still, he traded. He was running on fumes and secrets. And back in London, they were still clapping. If this story is keeping you on the edge, now's the time to hit subscribe. Every week, we dive into real financial events that shook the world. Not theory, but true tales of risk, power, and collapse. It was February 1995, In London, Barings executives were still sipping champagne. In Singapore, Nick Leeson was running out of air. The losses had reached $1.4 billion, and the market wasn't giving him any way out. He needed a miracle. But what he got instead was a misfiled document. Someone in the back office noticed a strange inconsistency. A margin call came in from one of Barings' counterparties, a demand for cash to cover exposure, but the numbers didn't match the reports. A junior employee flagged it. Then another. Then the account 88888 finally surfaced. The lie was too big to hide anymore. Barings executives flew to Singapore. They wanted answers, but Nick, he was gone. He had left a note on his desk, "I'm sorry," and disappeared. The bank tried to act fast. They hoped they could stop the bleeding, but by the time they calculated the true damage, it was too late. Barings Bank, the same institution that once held the Queen's account that financed Napoleon's defeat, that had survived 2 world wars in the Great Depression, was bankrupt, gone. Overnight, one trader, one secret account, 233 years. Erased, the media exploded. How could this happen? Where were the auditors? Who gave him that much control? The truth? Everyone did. Because he made them rich, on paper, and in the end, it wasn't just about Nick's trades. It was about a system that rewards results and never questions the process. Meanwhile, halfway across the world, Nick Leeson was on the run, hiding in airports, using fake names, sleeping in hotel bathrooms, but not for long. In March 1995, he was captured in Germany, his passport flagged, his name now global. Nick Leeson was extradited to Singapore, where financial crime meant serious time. At his trial, he didn't deny it. He didn't argue. He didn't blame the market. He said simply, "I lost control." The court sentenced him to 6 years and 6 months in prison. He served 4 years in a Singaporean prison known for its harsh conditions. But that wasn't the worst part. While incarcerated, he was diagnosed with colon cancer. Sick, imprisoned, disgraced, broke, the man who once controlled billions was now counting minutes between medical treatments and interrogations. And yet, he survived. When he was released in 1999, Nick Leeson walked out of prison into a world where his name was now synonymous with disaster. He couldn't hide. He couldn't run. So he did the only thing he could. He told the truth. He wrote a book, Rogue Trader. It became a bestseller and was even turned into a movie starring Ewan McGregor. He gave interviews. He told his story, not to excuse himself, but to warn others. "They gave me too much power," he said, "but I made the choice to lie." Nick Leeson never traded again. Today, he lives a quiet life, gives occasional talks, still reflects on the wreckage he left behind. But if you ask him if he was evil, he'll shake his head. "I wasn't evil. I was scared, and I was rewarded for silence, until silence became my prison." In the end, Nick Leeson didn't just break a bank. He exposed a truth that haunts every financial system. When results matter more than questions, fraud becomes invisible. And sometimes, the most dangerous person in the room isn't the criminal. It's the one no one ever dares to question.